Hello there, my name is Melvin Holsworth from Holsworth Law & Associates. We're currently doing a number of presentations for self-managed superannuation fund trustees for the year ended 30th of June 2012. As always, we have a disclaimer taking in effect this presentation because the laws are continually changing, and you should seek timely advice before making any decisions relating to your financial future for your self-managed super fund. This particular section is part of the contributions area, and I'm speaking about non-concessional contributions. I would invite you to look at the other presentations dealing with timing and reserving concessional contributions, contributions in kind, the payment of self-managed super fund expenses out of pocket, the new 30% contributions tax for contributions for those who are earning a notional wage greater than 300k, and the ever-reducing government co-contributions. So what is a non-concessional contribution? Well, simply put, non-concessional contributions are those that attract no tax deduction to the payer, and of course they're non-taxable to the self-managed superannuation fund either. They also attract no tax when they're taken out of the superannuation fund by way of lump sum or pension for those who are aged between 55 years and 60. And of course there are no tests, unlike the concessional contributions, in relation to the making of these contributions. Once again, the self-managed super fund must receive a notice of intent, and on that intent it will show what contributions are concessional and which are non-concessional contributions. It would be a travesty of justice if non-concessional contributions were put into the fund and they were mistakenly taken up as concessional contributions and included in the taxable income of the fund. And so once again I stress the importance of the notice of intent document that we send out to you and ask you to complete. There's been no changes over all the years with succeeding governments. Essentially, they tend to meddle with the concessional side and leave the non-concessional contributions alone. But you will recall a number of years ago, under the Howard and Costello days, that they did allow a $1 million non-concessional contribution cap. That has now been reduced to and has stayed the same to 150k a year, and there's no changes to this. You can now, under what's called a bring forward rule, an individual under the age of 65 and any time during the income year can potentially make a one-off non-concessional contribution of up to $450,000, which is essentially 3 times 150k, and let me explain how that works. So of course the bring forward provision is 3 years contributions of 150k. And of course, if you use the bring forward provision, any unused concessional contributions used in those 3 years are lost. So let me explain it best by way of example. I sold my private boat that I don't use very often, which tends to be the case with men that hold boats, doesn't it? But nevertheless, I sold it for $330,000, and I've decided that I want to put the proceeds of this into my self-managed super fund, and I do that on the 29th of June 2012. So you'll see in the table there that there's a cap for each year of $150,000 for the year in 30th of June 2012, 2013 and 2014. In the 2012 year I put in $330,000, which exceeded the $150,000 threshold that year by 180k. So I'm actually going to bring forward $150,000 out of 2013, which I'm still in excess by 30,000, and so I'm using 30,000 of the 2014 year back in 2012. So in other words, in 2013 and 2014 I can make another non-concessional contribution of no more than 120,000. So that's just a little bit of a summary there. So of the 450, I only use 330, so essentially I've got another 120,000 I can use in 2013 and 2014 year. for those of you who have self-managed superannuation funds and do exceed the non-concessional cap in 1 year, we do keep a table much like the one that you see here in the presentation, so that we can keep track of those contributions and ensure that you do not exceed your non-concessional contribution cap. Once again, we can use the reserving provisions and create a contributions reserve to help us out if we need to, and I would invite you to look at that timing and reserving presentation if you need to understand how that works. But yes, we can use reserving, and that would come in handy in the 2014 year if we did put in more than the 120,000 over those 2 years. If the contribution went in the June 2014, we would certainly use the reserving account in that year to push it over into the next financial year and avoid excess contributions tax if possible. And so a valid argument relates to this government's content with how the non-concessional contributions works. They haven't meddled with it, it stayed the same. Yes, they meddled with it the first year by dropping it from $1 million down back to 150k, but it seems to stay the same there, and it goes in and out of budgets and nothing seems to happen with it. So what has developed out of that is what's called a recontribution strategy, and I have another presentation on this, but simply put, it would be prudent to build up your non-concessional balance in your members account, because remember, that balance is easily accessed for those who are over the age of 55, and it's tax-free in your hands. It's important that at the moment we have a concession for those over the age of 60 to take a lump sum or pension out of their superannuation fund, and that is tax-free, whether it be concessional or non-concessional. The government may change their mind on that and charge a tax on the concessional contributions that are withdrawn in pension, and so where we can, we try and build up the non-concessional side in there, and we use a recontribution stream or strategy to do that. And so I would invite you to look at that presentation where I talk about it in a little bit more depth. Thank you very much.